double murder trial of rapper YNW Melly took place, hung jury at that time. Well, now we're really right in the midst of what is going to be the new trial. We're expecting jury selection to continue. It started and it's going to continue for quite some time. Just a point of note here for the final. The trial officially starts when jury selection starts. That's both for purposes of double jeopardy attaching and for, which is critical in this case, the right to speedy trial. So we are in the middle of the jury selection. When it does begin, we'll be all over it. And guess what? Going to be a new lead prosecutor, because on Tuesday, the state's attorney's office selected Alexandra Buckaloo to lead the case. Why? Because Christine Bradley was recused in, well, what the court considered an abundance of caution. So Buckaloo, she was part of the original team, now going to take over in this case, which involves the murder of two of the defendant's rap friends. Melly's defense team requested Bradley be removed, saying that the prosecutors did not reveal that the lead detective in the case had been accused of, well, let's just say, trying to lie to get some of the evidence collected via a search warrant, authenticated. Let's put it that way. He needed to have somebody in the room when he put the search warrant out for the phone of Mr. Demons' mom, and there wasn't one there. And he said, "Why don't you just say that you were in the room, Mr. Officer?" That's a problem. So the assistant state attorney, Michelle Boutrous, she testified that she overheard this investigator, Mark Moretti, ask the deputy to lie about being present during the execution of that search warrant. Crazy. A little detail, but hey, when you start hiding little details, what else you hiding? New prosecutor now. Melly, who of course is real Jamell Demons, his real name. He's accused of killing these childhood friends, Christopher Thomas, Anthony Williams. They say the defense is it was a drive-by. Nothing he took care of, wasn't him. And there was a hung jury back in July. So during Wednesday's hearing, Buckaloo requested to delay the trial. Why? Because I'm just coming into this as lead, even though I was on the team before. I need time to prepare. So how'd the judge rule on that? Let's watch.
I don't know if we're going to pick jury. We're going to start picking a jury. That's fine, but I'm going to be in here for the jury. I've got other cases, other dockets. I'm sure you do as well. I don't know which cases what motions, if any, we're going to be able to handle or not. You also said Fridays you want to take depositions. I know that's going to be the state. I guess you have to work those things out, and we'll see where it goes. But you filed in excess of 30 motions, and you're saying you're ready for trial. You ready for trial?
Yes.
Right, and so the defendant has a right to have I guess, a continuance if he wants to waive speedy trial to take all these depositions, but you're not asking for a speedy, for to waive the.
No, we're not.
So you want to go forward?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead,
You're
sir.
ready, Your Honor. I guess they don't have any, they are not going to matter whether they have the motions or not. They're ready to go. They're putting the court in a position of saying, we want the court to hear all these motions that we have filed. So then we have to wait until you know, all right, well, which one do they want?
Correct. That's the curriculum we're in. We're just going to do the best we can. That's all we can ever do. We'll do the best we can.
Your Honor, if I may, I'm sorry. So, as someone who just tried to do the trial case, we picked the jury in July and brought them back in September. That was due to health issues, scheduling issues for motions. There was about 10 or 12 motions that the defense filed in that case. And some depositions that were outstanding. We got all of that done after we brought up a panel, swore them.
Which case?
It was in front of the state versus Gregory. We just did that, and we relied on the case law that was cited in the memorandum that was provided to Your Honor. Now, I understand that the defendant has to be challenged, and I understand that we need to move this case along. But as Your Honor is very aware, this is a very serious case. And just like the defendant, the state is also entitled to a fair trial. And myself and the co-counsel in this case, we just got this case 48 hours ago, and we know nothing. And in order to appropriately represent the state, and we'll still be at a disadvantage. So Ms. Bradley had this case for 5 years, she's lived it. We will still be at a disadvantage. So if Your Honor's not willing to bring them back in January, at least give us till December to at least get up to speed on the case. We might be able to work some things out, move the case along faster. It would streamline things, honestly. So the case law does allow Your Honor to bring up a panel due to all the motions that have been filed by defense. It would also allow us time to figure out the case, and be prepared properly to represent the state of Florida.
The state created this mess. They have sat on this mess for a year. And now to come in here and say, despite creating this mess, we should be given additional time, disregarding our client's rights, and sitting here as presumed innocent of these crimes, is absurd. And we're willing to work around the clock to do these motions that were timely filed. I mean, I don't know what the problem is, to be honest with you. We agree that speedy trial basically is satisfied once you bring down a panel and swear them in on the state of Florida versus Demons. We agree. That's the law. I'm not standing here to misrepresent the law as an officer. What we're saying to Your Honor is you are allowing the state to cause this problem and now benefit from it. They were on notice a long time ago. They were on notice, actually, when Michelle Boutros reported this thing back in October of 2022. And they sat on it. And they sat on it until we had to litigate it, until we were advised of it. And as soon as we were advised of the problem, we filed the appropriate motion. Under their scenario, they could usurp the speedy trial rule anytime they want by basically creating a problem that they knew about over a year ago. So I would ask Your Honor, to whatever scheduling you want, to do the motion that were timely filed, to do the motion and to commence jury selection. And we will take the appropriate deposition, as we've indicated, Saturday and Sunday, or whatever days we're off, if we're off any. The court indicated originally, I thought, that he would probably do the motions on a Friday. And we would go through the motions. Because we all know it's gonna take probably a month to pick a jury, not long, because of the holidays. If they don't like a ruling of the court, before that jury is sworn in, they can take an appeal.
I tell you, Judge John Murphy, he puts up with a lot because the defense counsel's kind of in his face, almost blaming him for some of their timing issues. But we knew this was coming. By my calculation, they had to get the trial started by 10/23, which is Monday. They did that. Jury selection is underway, so that's off the table. We had been talking about what would happen. Would they delay this? Would they not? And so I checked in with co-counsel earlier before the court ruled. And the answer to the question, will this go on time to avoid any problem with the waiver of speedy trial rights, all signs point to yes, said co-counsel. And correct. So it is going forward. It's supposed to take until Christmas to get a jury. So let me chat about that. Catherine Lizardo is still here, trial attorney from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And joining us, Michael Brown, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. He's out there on Long Island. Michael, what's the weather like out there?
Not too good.
Not good?
Good afternoon, Mike. No.
Okay. Well, good you could join us. A good day to be inside. So why till Christmas? I mean, what's the deal here with selecting this jury?
Well, to say that it's going to take that long, I don't know if that's accurate. Clearly, this is a celebrity. There's probably a lot of publicity in that county regarding this case. But I don't know if it's going to take that long. That doesn't sound right. You can vet the people out fairly quickly and see who can be fair and impartial, see who hasn't been influenced by any publicity and who hasn't watched the case. I don't sense a case like this taking that long. Obviously, it would be more than a typical case, but I can't see it going into Christmas. I think that's overestimating the time period. Yeah,
there may be, they're being just kind of extra careful. And I know, Catherine, there's going to be the holiday periods here and there, and it's going to be very disjointed. I'm thinking they may be doing this purposely to just say, let's just get the jury seated. Then we'll begin in January. That's kind of my guess if they truly get it done before the end of the year. But Catherine, we sat through this in July. We know what this trial was like. We know what the sides are. Are you expecting the same arguments? Meaning, Prosecution obviously thinks they have enough to prove that Jamell Demons shot his two buddies in the car after a studio session, and the defense is saying, no, it was an unrelated drive-by. Do you expect those same arguments?
I think the same arguments will come through, but hopefully the prosecution will now try to use what they've heard from the defense to bolster their case, because it was a hung jury from the last trial. And I have to comment on this request for delay from the new prosecutor. Of course, like we mentioned, that's a common strategy. And maybe they will delay the jury selection until December so that the trial starts in January, to give the lead prosecutor more time to prepare. But Judge Murphy, he's in such a conundrum because he kept on repeating beforehand that the trial will not be delayed, but his ruling is causing the delay because he obviously ruled to take out the previous lead attorney. So kudos to him in being patient and just listening like that.
Yeah, it was kind of a Solomon-esque decision there, because they didn't recuse the entire office, Michael, just the specific lead prosecutor. That allowed the court to at least try to maintain this timetable, because if you get past 10/23, I mean, now you're looking at another motion to dismiss, but on a much more valid ground, and maybe one that's granted. What do you think, Michael?
Well, you know, what happens is, if it was from the other side, it would obviously be granted in the sense of an extension. If a new defense attorney came in, I would find it hard to believe that the judge would force that defense attorney to go forward on 3 or 4 days' notice preparing for the case, because it's basically built-in appeal. But because the prosecution doesn't have the ability to appeal a verdict, he has the ability to force the prosecutor to say, hey, we're going to go forward, and put their feet to the fire, so to speak, and really have a week or so to prepare this case, which is really difficult.
Let me ask you this, Michael. You're a former prosecutor. If you were in this position where now there's sort of some time for you to catch up because jury selection is underway, are you trusting that jury selection to your associates, the first chair, second chair, or you want to be there? So it's not like this time helps you, right?
True. No. As the lead attorney, you obviously want to develop the rapport with the jury. You obviously want to also eliminate jurors that can't be fair and impartial. But one of the most important things about jury selection is developing the rapport, building the trust with the jury. So no, you have to be there. You have to be part of it. But jury selection is certainly not as intensive and in terms of the workload as the trial itself. You know, it's really about questioning and speaking to the jurors as opposed to preparing direct and cross-examination and things of that nature. So at 5 o'clock on jury selection, you can go up to your office and work on the case, as opposed to when you're on trial, you got to be focused on the next witness, what we're going to put forward.
That's right. By comparison, you're only going to do like a 20-hour day instead of maybe 22 or 24. Okay, I get that. We're going to continue to cover this case as it unfolds again, but we're going to take a break right now and come back to Law and Crime.